Argofunk Book Review, Argofunk Book Review. So the Hardy Boys won a free vacation to Spain in a computer store contest. Their tour guide is Chase Martin, and it turns out he's a spy for the network. He drops the Hardys off at the hotel, then he pulls out a secret radio and says, "Everything is ready for tomorrow's rendezvous," and then Martin is murdered by the culprit. The Hardys are confused when Martin's not there the next day. Their chauffeur takes them to a specific location where a pretty Spanish woman says, "The sky is bluer in Barcelona." She says this 3 times in a row, so she's either a spy or she's crazy. The Hardys try to leave when they're attacked by Russian KGB agents. Oh no! They go to the car for safety, but they find out, oh no, the chauffeur is one of the Russians. It's all a trap! Oh, too many traitors! And then there's a big escape sequence. You're gonna have to get used to them. It's basically the entire book, just escape sequences. So the Hardys throw open the car doors, which distracts the guards, and they run, and then they dodge into an alley, and then they run, and there's a conveniently timed street parade. Wow, that's great timing. So they're able to escape. They go back to the hotel, and they break into Chase's room, because breaking into a dead man's room is totally not suspicious. Well, the police catch them, and now the Hardys are the prime suspects in Martin's murder, so the Hardys escape, but they get captured by the Russians and taken to the Russian consulate. So here we meet the 2 main culprits. We've got Vladimir the Violent and his boss Constantine the Assassin. And also there's the hot chick from earlier. Her name is Elena. Hi, Elena. She doesn't want the Hardy Boys to get hurt. She can't stand seeing them get hurt. So she steals a gun and holds off the Russians at gunpoint until they let the Hardys go out of the room unharmed. So while this is all going on, we get an explanation for what's happening. It's a little hard to keep track of everything because there are too many traitors. So this is a chart I made which hopefully explains everything. So the Russians made a deal with the network. They're going to exchange a prisoner for top secret information about a traitor. Instead of telling the Hardys, "Hi, we need you to make a drop-off for us," the network decided to trick the Hardys into coming here with the fake contest. Martin was going to give them the top secret information about 5 minutes before the drop-off takes place. Keeping the Hardys out of the loop is a stupid strategy, which unnecessarily endangers the mission, but the network had a really good reason for lying to the Hardys. It makes the book way more interesting. Also, they were kind of worried the Hardys would refuse the mission. That's why they didn't tell them about it until like 3 minutes before it happens. But seriously, have you met the Hardy Boys? They love spy stuff. No way would they turn down a secret spy drop-off, especially when it involves getting a free beach vacation. So when Martin died, he left that radio message. It says he gave the top secret information to the Hardys, only that's not what his radio message said. We heard his dying radio message. It was, "The couriers are in place. The rendezvous will take place tomorrow." That is a world of difference from, "Oh, I just told the Hardys who the traitor is." So that's the premise of the book. Everybody and their grandmother is after the Hardys, trying to get the top secret information that they don't know. Back to the story. So they leave the room and they run into angry guards, so they escape into Vladimir's office. Joe uses an AK-47 to get people to stay away. He doesn't actually shoot someone. That would be way too violent for the series, but he does use his AK-47 to scare the Russians a bit. As the cover shows, they escape by throwing a fire hose onto the next building, and they climb hand over hand to the next building. Only the cover is a lie. See, the Hardys actually double back and hide in a stairwell to make it look like they climbed on the fire hose. In reality, they just go out the front door. And they immediately get captured by the Gray Man. So the Gray Man is suspicious of them. He thinks they stole the information and are trying to sell it for lots of money. So the Hardys try to get the jump on the Gray Man, but he easily beats the crap out of them. I love how he's the only spy in the book who's not easily defeated by teenagers. But just like earlier, Elena holds somebody at gunpoint and forces them to let the Hardys go away. So as they drive away, the KGB attacks with poison gas. So they need to escape, get the antidote, and then they go back to the car. But the KGB attacks with a helicopter that shoots a missile. So they escape from the car, and then they go to like a hotel or something. And then the police show up, so they have to escape into the ocean and climb into a boat. Just so much escaping. The Hardys return to their hotel room where the Gray Man's waiting for them. Now the Gray Man has decided he trusts the Hardys. Hey, took you long enough, Gray Man. Jeez, you're supposed to be our friend. Well, he helps them out by creating a diversion. That way the Hardys can go into police headquarters and get their luggage. There's really nothing in their luggage there, but Frank takes out his Walkman because he wants to listen to some tunes. Sometimes you gotta relax when too many traitors are after you. A policeman catches them, but they escape from the policeman, but then the Russians break into the police area, and then the Gray Man and Constantine have a really awesome standoff, but then the Hardys escape, but then Constantine almost immediately captures them again, but he doesn't try to kill them this time. That's a nice change of pace for them. He gives the Hardys his phone number. So they go to Elena's house, but the police are there, so they escape from the police, and Frank listens to the music. That's when he realizes the truth. Martin did give them the top secret information. It's hidden on a Rolling Stones tape. So Frank arranges to meet with Constantine at the local disco. They hand over the tape and Constantine destroys it because he's the Russian traitor. Clever readers could have figured out he's the culprit by noticing Constantine knew about the chauffeur without being told. I didn't pick up on that. I figured, hey, there are only 2 Russian suspects here, so you've got a 50-50 chance of getting the right Russian traitor. Frank is not a total idiot, so this entire scene is a huge double cross. Not only is the real tape still safe, but the other Russians, the Gray Man, and the police are all here, just hiding, and they see Constantine get exposed. So there's a huge fight that breaks out. The Hardys escape, and they go to Vladimir's house in order to save the kidnapped prisoner. Of course, they fight a lot of people to go inside and save the prisoner, and then they fight a lot of people to go outside. The only reason the Hardys survive at a huge standoff is because Vladimir's armed guards turn on him. They're angry because Vladimir was stealing money from the government. Too many traitors! The end. Post-book follow-up. Joe speaks Spanish, but Frank doesn't. That makes Joe incredibly useful in this book. Yeah, he's still kind of an idiot compared to Frank, but now he's a useful idiot. This is an action book. It's made up of non-stop chases and fight scenes. Normally, I'm relatively okay with that. I expect it from this series, but I found it to be really tedious in this book. The book needed a subplot or something to give us a break from constant action scenes. There are multiple places where our hero escapes from one group only to be instantly kidnapped by another group, or the same group. There wasn't much in the way of the story. It's just the Hardys getting ping-ponged among the Russians, the police, and the Gray Man until the book is over. The book attempts to make it look like Elaine is a traitor. That was kind of a nice angle, although if she was the culprit, she would have turned them in 100 pages ago, and that would have been the end of it. The meeting with Constantine was fantastic. That was one of the highlights of the book, but if Frank was smart, he would have given the evidence of Constantine's guilt to the authorities immediately. Frank took some risks in this double-cross scene. He gave the police the wrong time because he assumed they would show up 2 hours early, and he didn't bother contacting the Gray Man because he assumed the Gray Man has bugged Constantine's phone line. Frank is really lucky he was right on both guesses. Also, it was a huge jerk move on Frank's part not to tell Joe everything in advance. Yeah, it was an effective narrative technique for Joe to learn all the plot twists at the same time the readers do, but the Hardys are mad at the network for keeping them in the dark. That's the premise of the book. They don't like people lying to them, so why would Frank do the exact same thing to his brother? It's weird. Overall, it's an action-heavy book. I didn't really enjoy it all that much. I give Hardy Boys Casefiles number 14, Too Many Traitors, 3 out of 10. There were some things I liked. Mainly the Constantine scenes were really good. Maybe that's how you're supposed to tell he's the culprit. It's because he has the more interesting villain scenes, huh?